Hello everyone, welcome for this new video where I will share with you my impression of Orsinium, the new DLC published by Zenimax. First of all, I would like to apologize for the time it took me to sit down and actually record this video, but during those weeks of testing it seemed that there was always something new to test, something to verify, a new patch, and I wanted to be sure to have made and tested everything. So the good side of this is that I will have more than first impression to share with you. This video will be shared in different sections. First of all, I will share with you my general opinion regarding Orsinium. Then I will go in detail step by step, speaking about the Maelstrom Arena, the quest, the content, the environment, etc. And I will conclude this video by sharing with you if I think you should buy this DLC or not. All in all, what I can tell you is that this new DLC is amazing, but it might not be the cup of tea for everyone. Orsinium is a new DLC that will be published by Zenimax the 2 November for PC and Mac, the 17 November for Xbox One and the 18 November for PlayStation 4. It will cost 3000 kron, but you have also a collector edition that includes a beer mount, a beer cup pets and 5 experience scroll, and this will cost 5000 kron. If you wanted to purchase this DLC, I think this will be a good deal because the mount and the pet only will cost more than 2000 kron if you purchase them alone. You will of course have access to this DLC if you're ESO Plus member and you have an active subscription, and this as long as you keep your subscription up. Orsinium is a whole new area that is situated in the northwest of the map. On the top it has boundaries with Bankorai, Rivenspire and Stormhaven. It's in the mountain and it's a zone that belongs to the Orsimer. You will find of course the capital of the Orc, Orsinium, which has been sacked several times by the Red Guard and the Bretons, and the Orc are trying to rebuild it. You will find everything that you can expect in a new zone. A lot of quests, a lot of lore, new area to explore, several delves, several world bosses, 2 public dungeons, solo instances, the Maelstrom Arena, new crafting station, a lot of sky shards, lore book and vista to explore. So it's really a ton of content for you to enjoy alone or with some friends. The first thing that struck me when I was playing Orsinium is to see the quality of the content. It seems so much better than anything you have experienced in the Elder Scrolls so far, and you know that I love the Elder Scrolls Online. Orsinium seems so much more polished, the quests are better, the stories are more interesting, the environment is more beautiful, everything seems to be more polished, more modern. It feels like the developer team had the time to put a lot of effort, a lot of care, a lot of focus into this DLC and to create something really detailed, really beautiful and nice and well thought. I'm really astonished of the work they have done here. So we had until now some update for the PvE players with Craglorn, with new dungeon, with some trials. We had some content for the PvP players with Imperial City and some polishing in Cyrodiil and the system there, but nothing had been added for the players that really enjoy the stories of the Elder Scrolls Online. So finally an update just for them, and they will enjoy the hell out of it. Something important you need to know regarding Orsinium is that the zone is battle level. What does it mean? Well, basically it's like Cyrodiil. No matter the level of your character, once you enter in Orsinium, you are scaled up to veteran 16 and your character become more powerful. However, you keep the same gear, the same number of skills, so the same passives, and the same champion points, which means that the power of your character will not depend of your original level, but more about how you have geared up, if you have a lot of champion points or not, how you have placed your skill points, etc. It also means that it's very fun to level a alt character, because you have done already all the story, you're a bit tired of it, you don't want to do it a third or fourth time, you just go to Orsinium and you will enjoy it. You will be able to do it without any problem. I tested this with a level 7, so I had no passive, I had, you know, white level 4 gear, and I had no problem to do the quest, but it was a lot more challenging, it was more dangerous, and it was a lot more fun. I also was capable of defeating the last boss in the delve, so there is really no problem for that, and you can level a new character in Orsinium. However, if you do not have champion points at all, it might be a lot harder. I tried it as well. I did some quests with a level 35 without champion points, and I had trouble to kill the last boss in a delve. Just to give you a little overview of the difficulty you can face when you come with a new character. If you come in Orsinium with your veteran 16 that have full gear and a lot of champion point, do not expect to find anything challenging. It will just be a breeze, but you can enjoy the story and have fun. The zone of Orsinium is stunningly beautiful. It's the most beautiful zone that you have ever seen in the Elder Scrolls Online, and no matter that you enjoy this kind of landscape or not, but there is so much attention to detail, so much care and so much creativity into it. First of all, the relief is very different, and for the very first time you will find yourself on top of cliffs capable of seeing what's below, and it can give you some really gorgeous vistas, and it makes the whole landscape a lot more interesting and feel more adventurous as well. You can really play with this, and when you climb a mountain, you actually have the feeling to be in the mountain. Also, the zone is really changing from the south to the north, so you will have different atmosphere and different sort of landscape. You will start in the south in a very beautiful boreal forest, and you will have a lot of trees, a lot of plants. It's really rich. I'm amazed to see the diversity of the vegetation. Once you go more in the north, you will first go in more dry land, so with a lot of ruins, etc. It become more desolated, and then it will become frozen, and you will have the snow and to ends to the shore, which is a frozen shore. It feels very cold. What impressed me as well is to see the weather effects. For instance, there is a quest that will get you in the mountain, and you will have a blizzard, you will have wind, you will have avalanche. It really feels like you are into something that's happening. It's not just a beautiful landscape, it's also an environment that can be dangerous for your character, and you will start to have to play around with that as well. We cannot speak about Orsinium without speaking about Orsinium, the actual city. You know how it works with the other city that you have currently in the game. You have a set of different buildings with always the same inn, the same blacksmith, the same houses and the same city hall that are reorganized differently, so each city feels a bit different. But here in Orsinium, you feel that the city has been completely built from scratch, especially for this place. So you have no building that you have seen somewhere else. It's all brand new, and it feels a lot more realistic. It feels more like a real city that you can explore, and that it's beautiful and interesting to visit. Also, the interior have a lot of care. Like I said, it's not like it's an inn that has been decorated to look like a blacksmith. Here you have, for instance, a bathhouse. The bathhouse has been created especially to be a bathhouse, so it makes it a lot more realistic, a lot more immersive. Also, something that can seem a detail, but there is a lot more furniture, a lot more details to every scenery. It feels more living. it feels more detailed, it feels more realistic. Some players, and especially players from the Ebonheart Pact and the Almeri Dominions, will find a little bit difficult to believe that they need to help the king of the Orc to rebuild his kingdom and to become more powerful, especially when this king is part of the Daggerfall Covenant. There's reasons, there's justification to start the story, but I know that some players will have difficulty to swallow that. But my suggestion is put that aside and just plunge into the story, because the story is amazing. It's really a great plot, it's interesting, and you will have plenty of reason to rejoice and to believe into the story. First of all, the NPCs are amazing. Zenimax managed to give them a lot of personality, probably because of the animation. So they explain in the ESO Live that each character has their own set of animation that has made especially for them. They've made study and everything, research to give them a lot of personality, and that worked very well. It struck me the first time I was speaking with the NPC. But the voice acting is very good as well. The King Kurok, I think the voice actor is the one that's playing Sheogorath, but he really gave a different twist to the King Kurok, and this character have so much personality that it makes you believe in them, it makes you like them or maybe hate them, but you will really feel like existing persons, and that just feels great. It's a lot better than anything you find in the Elder Scrolls before. So if you find that Darien Gauthier or Razumdar was cool, well, wait to see what there is in Orsinium, you will be surprised. The plots are also very interesting. As I was saying, all the quests are made in such a way that you will have little scene that is happening. So it's not just speaking to NPCs, listening to what he has to say, and then move on and go somewhere. If you don't stay around, you will miss something. So there is some discussion in the hall, or you have some plot that's happening. It really makes the story more living, because it's actually living without you. If you're moving, you will miss it, but it's still happening. For the lore fanatic, you will also have the possibility to delve yourself deeply into the story. You can easily speak 5 minutes with each NPC. They have so much to say. You will be able to discover their personal intention, their own feeling, the relationships they have with others, what's happening in the country, in Orsinium, the culture of the orc, how they work in the clan, everything. You will really be able to discover the culture of the Orsimer. But you will find the stories and the culture of the orc not only with the plot itself and the quest, but it's also dispersed all over the world, and you will have some little things that will teach you a little bit more about what's happening and what's going on. This DLC is mostly created for solo players, but that doesn't mean that you cannot play with a friend. First of all, they have organized the quest so you do not have any phasing issue like you had at the very beginning of the Elder Scrolls Online. So even if you're not on the same stage of the quest, well, it's okay, you should be able to always play together anyway. This is not something I've tested personally, so I'm careful in what I'm saying, but apparently this is how it's happening. They have paid a lot of attention to the phasing technology, so to allow the players to play together regardless on which step of a quest they are. You do not have much group content, but you still have some. For instance, the world bosses. Of course, there will be players that are totally capable of killing world boss by themselves, but it's very challenging. I would say average players will need to be at least in a group of 3 players to be able to face those world boss, especially if you're not max level and if your gear is not really good, or you don't have much champion points, or you're not very powerful. You will need to be in a little group and to at least have a healer, maybe to have a tank or a character that can take some hit. The world boss all work in the same way. You will first have some waves of adds and monster that you will have to defeat, and then you will have the world boss that arrive. Each world boss have their own abilities, and you will have to use some strategy to defeat them. You also have 2 public dungeons. Those public dungeons are soloable, but it's also a good place to meet other players or to be with your friends. The quest is a little bit less important. You will have less text. It's more easy to play with other players. You will not have to wait 5 minutes that anyone have finished to hear what the NPC had to tell them. You also have some puzzle in the public dungeon, and you also have the ancient orc motif that you can find on some bosses, so it will be a great place to come back to it, which adds some replayability to the game. The Maelstrom Arena is the new PvE endgame content that Orsinium is proposing to players, and I know that some players will spend their life there. The Maelstrom Arena works a little bit like the Dragonstar Arena, except that it's for 1 player only and you cannot team up with other people, so you're alone. You have 9 different arenas. Each arena has its own style and its own strategy. You have 5 waves of mobs that increase in difficulty and end with a boss. Once you defeat the boss, you have finished the arena. You have your chest with some loot that can include some of the new set items that are implemented with Orsinium, and you can go to the next arena. The difference is that your progress is saved. So let's say you have succeeded in 2 arenas and you need to log off. Once you log back in, you will have access to the 3rd arena. If you want to reset your progress, you need to abandon the quest. You also have some sigils that will help you to defeat the waves of monster and the bosses. 1 sigil to give you more DPS, 1 sigil to protect you, 1 sigil to heal you, and 1 sigil to give you more speed and more regeneration. In the normal mode, you can use those sigils and they reset and refresh at every wave, so you have 5 sets of sigils in an arena. If you use them in the veteran mode, you will lose some points. Oh yes, so we have 2 modes. Normal mode that is accessible with every level, so you can go with a level 7 and attempt your chance in the Maelstrom Arena. I'm not sure you will succeed. And you have the veteran mode that is only accessible to veteran 16th players, and that gives you access to the leaderboard, so you can compete with the players of the same class, because the leaderboard is separate in the 4 class. So a Templar will never compete with a Nightblade, and you cannot say this class is OP. You also have the possibility to earn the master weapon in the veteran mode. There is a lot of discussion regarding the Maelstrom Arena, especially regarding the difficulty, and second the fact that it's a solo endgame content while we are playing an MMORPG. I will try to summarize all of this and give you my point of view. I've tested the Maelstrom Arena with various characters, which include a level 35, a veteran 14 with stamina builds, a veteran 14 with Magicka build, and a copy of my main character. My conclusion is that, and a lot of players are saying the same, it's a lot easier to be a ranged, it's a lot easier to be a Magicka build than a stamina build. So melee and stamina builds will have some hard time in the Maelstrom Arena, while for the other it will be a little bit easier. The normal modes, a lot of players are saying it's too easy, but I disagree with that, because you need to remember that the normal mode is accessible by any level, so it needs to be tuned to different power of character. If you're a veteran 16, full geared with a lot of champion points, a lot of experience, and you go in the normal mode, it's normal that it's too easy, but it's not aimed to you. What's aimed to you is the veteran mode. That's where you need to go. So the Maelstrom Arena normal mode, it's nice for players that want to test out a new builds, to play with a low level character and challenge themselves, and the difficulty need to be tuned for that. And I can tell you already that if your character is not optimized, the normal mode is quite challenging. You will have difficulties, you will have to play correctly and play well. I've not tested so much the veteran mode, but I can tell you it's a lot harder, and that it's aimed of course for optimized character that want to compete on the leaderboard, so that's a real endgame badass place where to be. Something I do not like in the Maelstrom Arena is the DPS check that you have. And why? Because you have support character that's usually play tank and healer. Of course they will not tank and heal in the Maelstrom Arena, but what I mean is that they have champion points, and their character is optimized to be a support character, not to be the best DPSer. On another side, support players often are not very good at DPSing, because it's not in what they do usually, it's not in their mindset, it's not their playstyle. To have so hard DPS checks with enraged timer, and basically if you're not killing the boss in time, it's game over. And have struggled with some class, I could not do it. It was just a wall. I do not find it a good thing, because I think that the players that are capable of surviving, dodging, escaping, controlling mobs, they should be rewarded. It's a different playstyle, but it's also a good playstyle, and to impose some hardcore DPS check, it's really enclosing the players into one game style, and this doesn't fit every player. It's normal to have a minimum of DPS to do, and soft DPS check is okay, but not hardcore one, because it will punish a lot of players, and a lot of players will be frustrated because they will not be able to pass a wall. So I do not ask for the content to be nerfed, but I ask for the DPS check to not be hardcore one, but softcore one. Regarding the fact that it's solo, those players that play support class will also feel a little bit excluded, because they will prefer probably to play together with another player. Some players also prefer to play with other player. And to add the possibility of doing the Maelstrom Arena with another player, like you will have a duo mode, that could be a very nice addition that will please a lot of players. Regardless of that, I'm very happy that they have added the solo challenging content for players that want to challenge themselves and explore all their possibility. You will have a lot of players that will enjoy this. They will play around with their builds, trying to optimize themselves, find out what's the best build possible to defeat the Maelstrom Arena. And I think it's really great for all players that do not like so much to play with other players, or something that you can do in between two raid or two PvP events alone by yourself. You can rely just on yourself. You do not need to be mad and angry at your teammates. I think this is the kind of content that will beneficiate the Elder Scrolls Online on long term. And now time for the conclusion. Is this DLC for you? Should you buy it? Well, if you're someone that enjoys stories, enjoy exploration, if you enjoy your time spent in Glenumbra, Stormhaven, Oridon or Stonefall, you will love this, because this is exactly what you have known, but better. So you will have stories, you will have exploration, you will have immersion, and it's just amazing to be able to continue your adventure into a brand new zone and to discover more about the orc and what's happening over there. It's great content, and you have tons of things to do. It's also very casual friendly, so you can really lay back, relax and do your things without stressing too much, because it's not particularly difficult. It can be challenging, as I said, if you have a low level character that jump into Orsinium immediately, but it's stories, it's exploration, it's cool, you know. It's really nice. If you want to challenge yourself, you will have the Maelstrom Arena for that. If it's the very first time you play the Elder Scrolls Online, if you have a first character, I really do not recommend you to go in Orsinium. I recommend you to level your character through the normal zones, finish the main stories, and then you can jump in Orsinium. If you are a pure PvPer that do not like stories and quests at all, if you do not give a crap about that and your goal is to beat the strongest in Cyrodiil Imperial City and to kill others, there is no point for you to consider this DLC. There is nothing for you there. Nothing. If you are hardcore PvEers that do not especially enjoy stories, you will have to consider if the Maelstrom Arena alone is worth it or not. I think that the Maelstrom Arena can be very challenging and very fun to do and will give a lot of replayability, so it's not something you will do once and then you're done, especially if you're a competitive player, so that's something you will have to ask for yourself. My conclusion is that Orsinium is a great DLC, and I think that it's exactly the kind of content where the Elder Scrolls Online shine the best. It's of course not endgame, so the players that really want to explore their character further might not be satisfied with just only content like that, but there's also a lot of players that enjoy most of the time stories and exploration, and for those players this content is perfect. I really hope that Zenimax will continue to develop this kind of zone in future, because the quality and the enjoyment of the stories is very great. It's really well made, and yes, I can wait for more. I want more. It makes me thirsty. If Zenimax is alternating this kind of content together with more endgame that is both for PvPer or for PvEer, I think the game is in a really good track and have a brilliant future ahead. And voila, that's all for today. I hope you find this video both informative and entertaining. If you want to know more about Orsinium, I have several live streams that have been published on my YouTube channel, so you will find them in this channel, in the videos below. I have one video regarding Orsinium leveling, one video about Maelstrom Arena, and one about group content. I'm also live every Tuesday from 21 to midnight in a show called Elloa the Rantosaurus Live, so you can catch me there if you want. I will be happy to see you. Thank you so much to have watched. I wish you a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.